It is Friday, August 3rd, 2018, and I'm Dan Conard here with your NHL Weekly Update. Not a long segment for you today as the NHL world has been quiet over the past few days, and so has the world of hockey itself. There's just been three major transaction moves in the NHL this week, and the general manager of the NHL, Bettman, had a big story come out just a few days ago in regards to betting on NHL games. So let's get into the transaction news at this point. Jeff Skinner has been traded to the Buffalo Sabres. The 26-year-old waived his no-trade clause to join the Sabres. Skinner scored 24 goals and had 25 assists over 82 games last season. He has a career 204 career goals with Carolina, and in return, the Hurricanes will receive 2 draft picks as well as Cliff Pugh. And even though Carolina agreed to this trade and so did Skinner's going to be a big loss for the Hurricanes. A 204 career goal scorer with Carolina over 8 years. He scored 24 goals for you last season and had 25 assists. He's not going to be replaced easily. He has some big shoes to fill there, does Carolina. And Skinner hoping that he can have a great season as he did last year with the Sabres, and at just 26, he still has plenty of time left to be an outstanding player, as he's already shown he has been over these past 8 years. Kevin Hayes will remain with the Rangers for at least one more year. Hayes had a career-high 25 goals last season over 76 games. He's looking possibly to have a few more goals this season. The Rangers really looking for their players to step up, so they're expecting a little bit more out of Hayes and the other guys this season. They are trying to get themselves back into a playoff race, and so that's something that the Rangers are going to be looking for coming out of their players, with hope that they themselves will be able to triumph a little bit more this season, score a little bit more goals individually, and really become a threat out there on the ice. Salamanca signs a 2-year, $1.5 million contract with the Predators. He had just 2 goals over 6 assists last season. Just an 8-goal scorer with 11 assists with the Predators in his career. So not a huge threat with Nashville, and that's the reason why for the low numbers on the contract. The Predators are just hoping that maybe he could be a good fourth line guy this season is what the speculation is. Maybe he can have a season where he breaks out and has a lot of goals or a lot of assists, but right now he's just not a huge threat for the Predators, and that is the main reason that he himself has a low contract this season. So let's go now over to a big story coming out of the NHL. So they want to negotiate with those who will be allowing betting on their games. So we all know that just a few weeks ago, the Supreme Court has allowed sports betting once more in states. States would need to pass legislation in order to push that as a law, and some states will begin to make progress to that. Some have done so already, but more will be looking to do it as the next few weeks come, and especially into November, where you have a lot of different elections for mayor, governor. May see some legislation come out after that once those elections have been complete. But GM Bettman says that the NHL never condoned betting on their games, but laws have changed, and those weren't his exact words, but basically Bettman was hinting to that that the NHL hasn't condoned betting on their games, but laws have changed, which forces them to begin to change their policy. And he's basically saying, paraphrasing here, that if somebody, whether that's going to be a casino or an individual, is going to use their video or games to bet money on who the winner is going to be, that they want to negotiate with them because they want to cut off the profits. And to me, that's funny. I mean, you see a sports organization coming out and saying, "Hey, you can't bet on our games unless you're giving me a cut." And it's interesting to kind of see, because you have podcasts like this one, not specifically this one, but you have bigger podcasts that individuals hold about NHL that some guys are making money off of. They're selling ads and they're doing different things, and the NHL doesn't say that they want a profit because of that, but they are going to say that they want a profit because you picked the Flyers to beat the Rangers, and then you received, $5,000 or however much it may be, and then there you go. Now the NHL wants 10-15%, so it's interesting to see that this is what the NHL wants to do. And to me, casinos aren't going to do it. The casinos aren't going to want to do it because they themselves are already getting a cut of the bets that are being made. So then they're going to have to pull a bigger cut out to pay themselves to pay the NHL, which in return would give a smaller amount back to the person that won, and then therefore they themselves will be losing money. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out over the next few weeks, and when you continue to see different states pushing legislation to legalize sports betting. He was also asked about the possibility of NHL work stoppage, and here's what he said, quote, "It takes two sides to avoid a labor dispute. Whether or not it's a strike or a lockout, it's the same thing. It just means you haven't been able to reach an agreement," end quote. Right there, to me, it means that the sides are on total opposite sides of each other, and the good news there is you have until 2022 before a strike or a lockout comes reality. So, minor transaction news: the NHL wanting a cut of sports betting that goes on involving their games. Hopefully there'll be more news coming out next week for the NHL. But that is all we have for you guys today. I'm Dan Conard here with your NHL Weekly Update.